My name is Waqas. I'm a dentist in Manchester, and I was formerly the president of the Muslim students in the United Kingdom. We need to understand why the book is important in the first place.
Right.
The wider community has almost 1,000 years of missing history, from 600 AD to 1600 AD, which are generally called the Dark Ages. And it's amazing to think 1,000 years just went missing. And of course there was no Dark Ages really. This was one of the times, one of the ages when Muslims were most successful, making the most contribution to wider society and to the world as a whole. Really, it's our job to allow people to understand the contribution that was made, because only when we understand where we've come from or our history can we work towards the future. And now in these somewhat troubled times, contributions were made by us in the past. How did we contribute to wider society? Because this contributes to community cohesion, so our neighbours will understand how we were living, how we were working. So really I personally think that the job of the book is not just to have the book necessarily only in the universities and in the libraries, but really to flood the wider community with this knowledge, with this understanding, because the work of people like Da Vinci, you know, everyone knows this name, but was built on the great work done by his predecessors, the people who went before him. And so it's our job to remind people, because sometimes they have this amnesia, kabhi kabhi bhul jate hain na, ke, you know, what happened before, how things were done before, the contributions that were made by Ibn Khaldun, by Kindi, by Ibn Battuta, by many people in the past. It's, you know, it's our job to remind them, so that the names of our great thinkers and scholars of the past go side by side with Da Vinci and Michelangelo and hospital system.
Yes.
That we see today was inspired by the Muslims. By the book shows it very nicely, the whole hospital system, and how hospitals were absolutely crucial at that time. In fact, the modern day NHS that we see today was inspired by the Muslims to have free healthcare, which is an amazing concept, that every single person, regardless of wealth, age or creed, can have free healthcare in this country. I think is an absolutely amazing idea, an absolutely amazing concept. Even things like the stitch that we see today, that we use day by day, was a contribution.
It belongs to your profession.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The oral health care, things like the miswak and things of that order, all inspired by the Muslims. How long ago were we talking about oral health care? So I think everyone, if they really looked and made an effort, would really see that just scratch below the surface and the information is there for you. This is a great tool, an amazing tool. You know, there's things like the website which are contributing to these projects, but really we need to, you know, flood it so people understand that, you know, the vast contribution not only made by the, you know, Judeo-Christian individuals and contributors to society, but that our society today is built on, you know, the Judeo-Muslim Christian standing.
Science and technology today is very important, but also the social welfare and the system, the socio-political system that we have is also very important. One is the child benefit, that every woman who is with baby benefits today. This child benefit story originated from the time of the second caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. When he heard a child screaming, the woman cannot keep him sort of happy, and then the baby kept crying all the time, and he asked the woman, why don't you make him quiet? She said, I don't have milk in my breast. He said, buy milk. She said, I don't have any money. And he then said, by God, from now on the treasury, that means the money from the government, will pay for every woman who brings a child, so the child will get. But then later on he said that the woman should also, as soon as she becomes pregnant, she has a salary from the treasury. So that is a very important issue. The second one is what we enjoy today as the old age pension. When we get old, like I'm now getting, we get money from the pension. But this is money, and our own money we save with the government, right, and with insurance, and then we get paid after we are 65. But original history of this, people not aware, is also with Umar ibn al-Khattab. He once was in the street as a caliph, that means the head of state. He saw a Jewish old person, And this Jewish old person was begging in Medina. He said, why are you begging? It's not right. He says, well, I have got nothing. He said, so Umar said, oh my God, may Allah forgive us. Though when you were a young Jew, we used you, and we used your intelligence and your muscles and your youth. Now when you are old, we have abandoned you. Then he went back and he made a decision by the government that every old person, when he reaches that age, will get a salary from the state. This is not the salary, the pension that he had, not like our pension today.
Like Social Security?
Yeah, the Social Security today is using our own money.
Right.
That you save yourself, you pay national insurance contributions. In the time of Umar, it was very advanced, very socialistic type system. And the Labour Party should think that Umar is their established, the most important historical role model for them, because he has set up this, and he has taken money from the government treasury to give to the old people. Imagine, Muslim and non-Muslim, this one was a Jewish person. The third one is in the time of Ali. Ali ibn Abi Talib, karramallahu wajha radiyallahu anhu, alayhi salam, Imam Ali. He was the Khalif, the fourth Caliph.
Right.
And he once lost his shield, this shield which you protect yourself with. He couldn't find it. He lost it. So one day he found it with somebody, and that person was Jewish in the Medina. So he said to him, this is my shield. He says, sorry, no, it is mine. He says, but it is mine. This is the Khalif, it is like the Prime Minister, the King, saying to
he
the
was
person.
the king at that
He
time.
said, okay, we go to the court. So they went to the court. The judge, the Qazi, his name was Qazi Shuraih. They went to him. As they walked in, the Qazi didn't stand up, get frightened and say, oh, Khalif, coming here. He didn't even call him Abul Hassan. He didn't call him, oh, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Prince of Believers. And he said, because they are in a court, he said, stand next to each other. And he asked Ali to go a little bit further, just only a couple of centimeters further from the other person, from the Jewish person. So he asked Ali, he says, you are the one who has made the case. What is the case? He's got my shield. So he said to him, have any proof? He said, no, I can bring my sons, Hassan, Hussein, to testify. He said, sorry, in Islam, testimony of children is not allowed. Yeah? Because they will side for you. And then he said, I'm sorry, since you don't have a case against this person, he said to the Jewish person, this is your shield. Then as they left the court, the Qazi stand up, and then he said to the Khalif, he said, I'm sorry, this is the case, this is the Lord. He said, Ali said to him, he said, look, by God, if you had made a different judgment, I would have fired you. And whilst they were talking, this Jewish person came with all his family. And they came into the courtroom with all his family, his children, his wife, and so on. And he said, I declare that there is no God but Allah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. The shield is actually for Ali, but I wanted to test the justice system in Islam. So these incidents from the Muslim heritage, when you find, these are role models. It tells us that early in Islam, the Muslims have woken to the fact that the importance of separating the judicial system, the legal system, from the government and the political system. This is a very important contribution. Unfortunately, Muslims now don't do that. The Western societies in England, which is the most respecting nation to the law and the legal system, the judge can go to the Prime Minister and bring him to court, right? And the people will defend the judge and not the Prime Minister. So these issues, I think, are extremely important to learn about the social justice, and these are new things. There's also last Saturday somebody asked about the financial system, and you asked me about zakah. But the financial system, there are many systems in the world that we use today. They originally come from the Muslim contributions, like the check, like the insurance, like the idea of destroying inflation.